Hey yo, you already know. Come get your boy, cause we are going crazy on this ZAW USD. But let's switch over to AUD. We got Mrs. Princessa wanting to look at AUD USD right now. My stream is gonna be kind of choppy. I think it's either my stream or my computer. I think it's my computer because my computer is not a not a real computer. It is a Mac. Not the one with the latest M3, I think. M1 in this. M1 is not doing too good in this computer. So, oh shit, Taki mushrooms. It is playing my audio. I hope that. Let me just turn that down. All right. AUD USD in my Forex menu. Alright, let's gear up on another chart. We ain't got no markups on this guy. It looks short. I would expect if gold is short, I would expect AUD to definitely be short if gold is short. For one. Oh, newly short though. Oh, this is beautiful. Alright. We broke the bottom of the CR here. It was a bullish candle, so we do expect demand to be heavy down here. This was a bullish candle, so we don't expect this. It's just, I don't want to say it's common sense, but of course we are bearish on this candle, but we wouldn't expect it to fully displace here, right? Like just fully let's go. Like we wouldn't expect this to be a crazy bearish candle. It could possibly be because this is an imbalance, and sometimes within imbalance ranges you see the candles fall into and to retest what you would say here. You would see it retest this area. Well, not even the area, the very price level. It would like just fall and test that, but it's not. That's after a bearish candle. So if this candle prints bearish, then the next candle keeps breaking the lows. You can expect for that one of these candles to fall and literally just manipulate to this high right here. So that's what we're looking at on the higher time frame. Obviously, all right, let's just get to some markups. This is the current break and retest level, bearish level, easy. Bearish key level. All right. Then we have our, what I would say, if we do go into a supply run or a sell side liquidity run because we're coming from supply, right? Like all of this is supply, is a good supply too, which we would think it was a good supply because it sent price cleanly through this low, right? So somewhere usually between this low and this supply point is going to be a bearish entry to get us back either to these lows here, 1, 2, 3 at this point, or just to this imbalance. So we'll have to see how it treats this break and retest, right? So hopefully everybody can get something out of this. Mean threshold. So let's go down to the lower time frame. I don't even know if it's important to put the CR markup on here on this time frame. I really don't know, because we can really just use this. On Forex, you really want to stick to the hourlies and what the hourlies are doing, but you can go down. You'll see a lot of break and retest in these lower time frames, right? Like right, break, it broke, retest, right? Boom, that's your buy level here. It's simple. It's not like, if you're looking past these simple break and retest and all that stuff like that, it's just like, it's very difficult. And it gets very difficult. It does get more difficult, and a lot of traders don't know. It does get more difficult when you get into these ranges here, because this is a transactional range, right? The expansion range would be from like here to here, right? But then you start getting into orders, you need to transact these orders. The computer is like going back and forth trying to pair these orders up as it's moving. So this is a transactional range. You might get an expansion from here to the low if we were to continue sell side, right? And it would like flash manipulate to this low. All right. So right now, what are we working with? We have one bearish candle, break, it broke, right? It's not really giving us a bearish impulsiveness, but if you do want to scalp, you can scalp to each one of these lows. Like if we do get a bearish entry, we could probably scalp to this low. I don't know why anyone would want to do that instead of like understanding this whole dealing range and catch like a couple 15-minute candles like really expanding here, and you won't really get that until it breaks this right here. Once it closed below there, then you might get it, and that's where I would mark. It's called sweep, test, retest right here, and that's the devil, because you don't know if this is going to send price back into this high. You don't know, because we are at a bigger supply. It doesn't look like it absorbed many of these orders, because it would have printed, I would say, printed harder once it is ready and showing us that it did transact here. But this is now a bullish candle, right? So this is how you frame these levels. Like if you don't have this, you're just not even gambling. Like you just clicking buttons really at a certain point just to prove that you know something. If you're not looking at this, like people be like, oh, I learned everything. Like you never learn everything in this, first of all. But the simple things you need to know, which is this is a bullish candle, right? This here, from here to here, is a bullish impulse that broke this level, right? It didn't close beyond it, so that's showing us that we have reached this mitigational level. But if you're not looking and expecting a bullish response here, right, you got to pay attention to that, right? So it's not really moving though. So you can't take a bullish trade here. You wouldn't be able to take a bullish trade from this level until really, like, you really got to get some bullish. You got to get some bullishness going on here, like a close above this. Like we got to close above this. You would expect maybe a bullish follow through to up here somewhere. We're looking for it to close below this now. And when we close below this, you'll get an upside move to one of these highs, maybe not even this one, but to one of these highs. Like I said, if you want to scalp short, you can scalp short through the lows. We just said that. If you wanted to scalp short for 2-3 minutes or whatever, you can scalp short through the lows. Right now, this is our key level. This is actually what I call level transference. Transfer that level here, right, to a what? Sell side target, right? But if you want to sell short, the close below this candle would have made us short. You see it close below it, but we haven't tested any of the highs. So you really wanted to test one of these highs before you go short, unless it just falls through, which, you know, I mean, it can happen. And then you would still look for a test of something up here, like this level here. You would want it to come in here, close below it, and then come back up to test this very low that failed. This guy died. So you come what? Collect his soul and drag him to hell. All right? Exactly that breaking, what they call break and retest. Wow, that gold cell. Wow, that gold cell is crazy. And you see how it keeps referencing this level because this guy is not dead yet. This guy is still alive. This guy's still trying to claim his spot. This guy does not want to go. He does not want to go. And he got his buddy right here. He got his buddy right here watching his back. Precisely this top of this buddy right here. Every time price comes in there, these guys who were short here are getting out. That's what this is. If you're not looking at it like that, then like I said, you're just clicking buttons, yo. We don't have a level we can trade from long here. If you wanted to come long, you could possibly try to stab in like what I would do sometimes. Like it tested this mean threshold like of the bulk of these orders. Plus this old level here, like all of this would be bullish, liquidity points, literal points of liquidity. And in this candle, it'll just give you a whole bunch of bullish response because these bears that were in here are getting out because they got disrespected here. So this is what a consolidation or transactional range looks like. This is having a transaction. It's not having an expansion. You have transactional range and expansion range. This whole thing is a transactional range. Now we will get an expansion response, right? Like here, like if you wanted to go long from here and maybe target here, right? For a scalp, like just a quick scalp, like you stabbing long, you've seen it hit something here, maybe even on the 1 minute. If you were sweating like with multiple screens up, you might have been able to hit a 1 minute fair value gap that got left in here and then go long. Like I'm not sweating like that. I'm not trading it. So, right. And maybe if I was desperate for something, I would possibly go down and be looking at that and then trade it here. But I would want to catch more candles like this personally, like these type of, I would want to catch the break of this down to here or this FVG expansion down to here. Like look at the size of these candles. These are little baby dick candles, little itty bitty boy candles. Get what I'm talking about? Like, why would you? I mean, if anything, you would target. Looks like it's long. There's a breaker here. It broke this base. Now this whole base is being used to jump off of. This whole thing right here is being used to jump off of. Right here, and so we are expecting this to be a really strong. This whole thing here. Where is it at? I would say from here to just be really strong. That's what I would expect because it was a really strong dip. I didn't look at the higher time frame like the daily to see what we went into because all of it counts. It all matters. But if you just wanted to, right, just say what's happening, this is what's happening. This whole area should be a no trade for the most part until this transaction is done, and this transaction is now between here and here. This to here is the transactional range here. So maybe you can go long. This closes over this candle. That's a bullish engulfing array. You might can go long and target this level or maybe the rest of the clearing of this that it has not cleared yet, right? So that's our idea for long because, right, it has not what? Cleared its imbalance. And we have a trending up, down, tested the last candle that led to a high, right? Low, led to a new high. It tested that low. Like this is the small stuff, people, man. I don't think you can substitute for me. You can try to gimmick your way through like, oh, it's that supply, it's that demand on different levels and this and that or whatever. But to me, if you don't understand that this low is not expected to be closed under, you would fall for a sell side move and then get stopped out because your stop loss is here above this candle or even above this candle. Like you can still get stopped out. Even above this range, you can still get stopped out because it's breaking highs. Low, broke a high. Low, this is the lowest low, broke a high. It's breaking highs. So, right, that's the mode we're in right now. Even though it's transacting a bearish, right, breaker structure sequence, right, broke down, broke, right. But currently, we are still in breaking the highs mode. It hasn't broke this low. This is the guy who is responsible right now. He's the last guy that led to the high. So he's responsible for whether we change back to this mode. This very guy. So I guess marking these charts up, in live action is it might help a few people. Again, this dealing range is terrible, right? I'm still, like I said, I'm still bullish here, right, to this level because this guy is holding us. So I would, if I was looking to trade long and seek this level, this is the idea, the frame for, if I was not in a position on this and I was looking for a position, I would have been trying to trade from here in a lower time frame or close of this and then target this stop loss. You really would want to put your stop loss down here for this trade because the idea is still that we didn't take this imbalance out. We're just mitigating these blocks now. This block let go of a lot of take profits, so that's why we fell back here. But our ultimate goal is here and even here because there's a small imbalance here. So even here, but right, that's the frame. Now we do have an idea to trade into this level and this level as well, but right, we just haven't gotten no entry confirmation for that. Plus, we haven't closed below this guy who's responsible for guarding his range. Streamer mode. If we went down, if we were sweating and we came down to the lower time frame, I may say, right, let's just say, right, so this was below that 15-minute candle, right, which is here. This is the guy responsible for guarding this level. We're gonna say that this guy is there, right? What's below that guy? The reason he can even guard his level is because my boy got a lava pit down here for any oncomers that think they are going to, right? And that's what an order block is, right? On a higher time frame, this is just two candles, like a downward candle and an upward candle, disrespecting the downward candle. In the lower time frame, right, this is why we expect those higher time frame, which is a 15-minute order block. This is why we expect those to hold stronger when they have stuff like this going on, right? And so now what we have is this candle, this guy was the last guy to absorb liquidity, right, and send price where? Back into the highs. So we are gonna see what happens at this guy. Hold on. Right? So we're gonna see, we got three levels conjoining in one: the FEG high, the low, and then now this guy right here and his body. And we expect where? Right? Oh, that's like magic, right? Oh, I put the dotted line on there. It's like magic, right? It's funny. You guys learn, I guess, one day. So because I have it on. Okay. Yeah. All right, so now we traded through that. So I would expect this to be bearish because we traded through it, but we also have a key low inside, right? Like this is the small stuff, right? Look at this 1 minute candle's low right here, right? What happens when we get below it? So we have the midline, which is just a general understanding that most of those orders that should send price back up should be there. But, right, we just closed below it. So now I'm thinking that this would be one of the official signs that we are going sell side. What is this? This is 113. I wish I could. I need new markups. Oh man, I'm so tired. Either way, whatever. I'll just put this. All right. So now that we've broken a low, let's see what they do here. Again, let's go back up to the higher time frame. All right, and we are still within this OB body, but we are close. 1 minute and 18 seconds. So now that we're getting closer to closing below that candle, all right, below both these candles, below this guy, he's gonna die. This guy's gonna die, and then this guy. I mean, we've been having lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So we can, in the few candles that are here right now, we can kind of say, it's going bearish, and it swept. This is a secret. This is a secret bullish expansion moment. When it swept the high of the last candle, it broke the sequence of lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and it broke that sequence of lower low, lower high by making a higher high, right, and then going back into the lows. That right there, this whole thing right here, what's happening with this, could have spawned, right, exactly why I marked this as a goal for this low, right? So I don't think you can scam this. Like, you can't fake that you understand it. Like, you either understand it or you don't. Like, you can't really fake it. Like, it's not fakeable. Like, right? Propulsion, actually compression, because it didn't even go anywhere. All right, compression, and then what do you have above the compression? Why are we going lower right now? Because we had what? A clean supply mitigation right there. Right? So you can't fake these markups. Like, I don't think about it. Like, I don't think, let me look and see what's here. And no, it's like, I got it all here. I'm ready to market compression. Boom. It has its way. The FEG has its way, right? Boom. And we expect what? We expected it to do what? Boom, get here. We really expect it to keep drilling now because what? Now we're at a new 15-minute candle. You've seen what happened though, right? Look at what happened. It failed to close below it, but we are in a downtrend. So even though this one failed to close below it, this guy is basically dead. Like, it's basically, this guy is dead, right? He's gone. So once this guy died, they were free to just now we're just free to kind of just explore, even though it's so precise, right? Even though we did not kill this guy, it didn't close below that guy right there. But we are expecting this guy to be a target, right? I'm also not expecting fully for this guy to be traded through. This is a propulsion array. I'm not expecting the mid-range of that guy to be fully like easy to take, but I am expecting this low to be easy to take, and I am expecting, right, we do have a sell side goal, which is somewhere up in here. There is, so it's like, oh, because, right, what happened after this guy got traded through, right here, we closed above him. It went down into it, collected this FEG, and then came back up to where it is. Try to rebalance all of this and came to this guy. All right, so we are trending down. Lower, low, lower, high, lower, 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 high. Somewhere up in here, a lot of people have the idea that we are going to attack this guy here. This guy is under attack right now because they're to attack this guy. So below triggered more shorts. Closing below him is just like his block is defeated. His block is done. This dude's block is gone. So yeah, right? Propulsion. What I say about propulsion arrays, if you go back and watch the video, it's made to propel price through it. So once you get to the middle of that guy and you really start showing more bearishness, you know for a fact we're going for that propulsion blocks low. Like we're traded through the body of that propulsion. It's propulsion. You expect it to come through the zone really quickly if it does come through the zone, right? So once we closed, it was a sequence of things that happened. We disrespected this guy, right? Closed under him, and then we had a propulsion block here. This is not real demand. This is not real demand. This is a quick, there weren't too many orders here. It was just a quick boom, boom, thank you, ma'am type of deal to get us into the real supply. That was his job. His job was to get us here, not to get us up here. That's not this guy's job. It might be these guys' jobs, right? Where it comes down into this guy and then it can't go lower, and then we would target this guy here, right? Or this guy or this guy or this guy. But we haven't seen that yet. Right now we're bearish, right? Right now the narrative is that we broke this low, mitigated a high, right? Broke this low, mitigated the FEG, absorbed all the orders. It was strong enough to where it left a sliver and sent price back down to break this guy. If there wasn't enough orders to send through this guy, it would have came back up, collected it, and went again. Right? Because we're expecting bearishness. We're just expecting bearishness. We're expecting this guy to fully be under fire soon. Because people who trade long positions, like the scalpers might go in and out, right? Like the scalpers might go in and out right here. Like, boom, they might take a TP, come back up. But all these guys right here that got in, they're holding, most of them are going to hold until this level, or at least this level, or one of these levels. Like these levels will be the targets for the guys getting in here. They're not lower, low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high. So all the confusion that a scalper might have about, oh, we're hitting a demand zone, we're hitting a bullish FVG, like that's a scalper brain. The real traders are getting in here and holding for the break of structure trending, which is here. It's just a simple, they're not sitting here thinking like, oh my God, 100 million candles, what do I do? They're not thinking like that. They're like, it's either going to work or it's not. They're going to put an entry in here, put a stop loss like here, because this is the holding array, put a stop loss here, and then put a take profit here, right? Once you understand that, that's the people with the money. Like decent money, not like billionaires and stuff, but like people with $100,000 accounts, $200,000 accounts, $1 million accounts or whatever, if they scalp. Because this is still a scalp for those guys. They would enter, a lot of people entered on the break of this guy. So they entered right here on the break of that guy on the downtrending, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high. Lower low than this one, lower low, and a lower high than that one. Lower high, lower low. So, right, this is where it's coming from. And let's just say they want to be super aggressive and put their stop right here. I probably I probably would, put my stop right there and target something like this. I would probably put my stop right there and target something like this. I'm just conservative. I know I can potentially get this level if we broke these guys and potentially get this level. Right, that would be scary for me. Trading here would be scary for me, just because of this FVG. I would expect a lot of scalping transactional energy inside of this FVG. So it gets weird for me when it comes to having an FVG in my target range, because I know for a fact it's going to send price back up. It's not a question. It's not a question at all whether this is going to send price back up or whether this low would send price shortly back up. So if you're scalping on the lower time frame, you could price that in if you had the understanding that it will send price back up. 75% of the time, 25% of the time, it'll trade clean through that bitch, and cheers, right? Like, but for you go by percentage average 75% of the time is not going to go through that. But this is the framework. This is what we do. This is it. There's nothing too exciting, or I guess it could be exciting if you were confused. Maybe it'd be more exciting. Excitement. What happened? Why is it happening? What is going on? What is happening? I'm not excited or enthralled by any of this. If it hits that sell side liquidity target right there in this trade, I would not be. I would just be like, oh, all right. I mean, this is a lot of traders' targets right here. So I wouldn't be like, oh my God, this demand block failed me. Why would I think like that? Of course, I expected a bullish response in here. A lot of bullish higher time frame scalping. A lot of what we just saw with this candle, where it just like went up halfway of its candle. You know what I'm saying? And now what? It's come back down because on the 1 minute, right? On the 1 minute, this 15-minute candle is expanding. Sorry about that. Whoa. All right. Lock that up. This 1 minute candle this 15-minute candle is expanding and breaking sell side targets over and over, right? So after that got broke, right, you would expect it to clear as much of this. This is the break and retest point. This is what I call the break and retest point, right? It may approach that level. It may hit it if there's a real decent sell side liquidity, right? Like people placing orders heavily, right? Or robot scalping. In this case, this would be a lot of robotic activity because the robots can see this and they're like, oh, and there's a lot of orders here. This was a clean strike. So, right, let me get this out of the way. I can't do this. Too much on my chart. Sorry about that. Gotta get rid of that. But you get the idea of where we're going, right? So this is the framing for where we're going. Right? We broke it again. Right? So, right, after this bullish order block got broken, you always get a complaint. Oh my God. My block got broken. What do I do? Danger. Look at where you can expect after your block gets fully disrespected, right? It traded through the halfway line, right? So I said once it closed below the halfway, what did I say? Right? I was mentioning that the halfway line was important. Was that halfway line important? Yes. So you can still use your block. Now you just have to invert it because we already had a bearish frame. So once this block got closed halfway through, all those orders and everything got disrespected. We already disrespected this guy right here. He failed his block. So it's a stacking of the idea. You can't just come on here and be like, this demand zone, that demand, this FVG didn't work. We didn't expect it to work. This is a propulsion zone. It's FEG. We got a whole fucking shitload of $100,000 accounts piling in on 5 lot shorts, 10 lot shorts to the low. Right? Like, right? So each one of these lows should not hold. Each one of these lows should be the next target. So that's why I have a what? Target right here at the lows. Right? And where do we expect these two? Let's just use a right. Right. So now let's just zoom in on the technicals here. You can already see 50% respect of this range down. Boom. Hit the what? Break of structure. Come down. But you got to have a framework of an idea of where you're going. You can't just, and then you get down here and be like, well, I want to go long now. Like, you can. Right? If you go long, where are we at? 18 seconds in this candle. So in the next 15 seconds, if we close above this candle's range, right? It's that sensitive, right? 15-second, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bullish intent. So now we're doing what? Now we know that we might go for a what? Retrace up this range. Now let's see how it responds. So if you want to go long, it's after that bullish candle. That bullish candle swept the low, right? And then printed bullish above the candle before it. So what do you expect? You scalp long to where, right? And this is crazy to me that you would keep scalping long when we're driving to a bearish level with millionaires piling in on top of your head. But hey, to each his own. If you want to do it, the skill is here. I'm showing you the skill, right? These are the levels, right? If you were targeting up, you got your bullish inversion. Boom, 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 right? Get a pause, right? Boom, get a pause at this level. Of course you get a pause at this level, right? Boom, back down below the 25%, right? This is all computer work. The computers are trading all of these levels. So when you're talking about scalping, I want to scalp long from this and that, like, that's why I said it's crazy. If you were to go long right there, that would be where to do it. But you playing with robot levels. When you know, of course your stop loss will be down here. You wouldn't expect this bar to be traded through easily. You know, but that was FEG activity here, right? With a break and retest. This was a low. Came up to it, broke it. Came up to it, broke this low, and then we got a bullish candle. Come back up to it, come above this, come back to this, because this low of this candle had not yet been tested. So this low is responsible for pushing, right? The lows, it's just pushing. It's pushing lower, 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 lower. So it got to it. Boom. It's also an algorithmic Fibonacci level. This is a lot of calculation for trying to catch a simple long with someone would think it was a simple long because of what? Let's see why they would think this was a simple long. I mean, you did get your bullish candle and you put your stop below the bullish candle. You expect this candle, all of these, you expect all this to hold. It will trade down here, but you expect it to hold. I'm telling you these expectations piece by piece, and you do expect these ups and downs. This is a transactional range. It gave you an entry, but this is not an impulse. It's not printing impulse. So until it prints the impulses, you can't say. All right, somebody might have this marked. Marking up. This is why I don't trade these time frames. It's just a lot of marking up. It's a lot of marking up. If you miss anything, cheers, mate. If you miss anything, it's cheers for you. Right, and where did we go? Where did we go? Where did we go? Where did we go? All right. All right, this is our break and retest. So what do? I grab my break and retest bar. You gotta have these markups ready, like, right? And you just keep transferring them. Break and retest. Retest this level. That's where it's gonna get hectic at. We didn't test the 50%, but we did test something in there, right? So these are expectations. This expectation was already there. Like I said, this is the transactional zone. This expectation is here. We're still bullish because we didn't hit the 50%. You won't really go full bearish in this range until something up in here, usually. Like, this is where I would expect it to really get bearish. Really more so like on this candle, more so, or in this black candles range, from somewhere up in here, right? Usually it'll be in this black candles range where we will go bullish. This is all expectations. This is, people don't, they, how much information can you process at once, right? So if you did go long, I would TP. This is where I would TP. I would have TP'd somewhere up in here, right? So let's see what we do. This is interesting. I can sit here all day and mark these charts up like this and watch it like all day long. I can literally do this all day long. So we did what? Hit this FEG, right? And what happens on the higher time frame? Let's look at the higher time frame. What are we doing, right? We are inside the body of a bullish block. Remember I also said I don't expect this to be traded through easily. If you were seeking these higher levels, like it's trader against trader. You got big traders trading down, and then you got big traders trading up. So who's gonna win? Sometimes you don't know, but you can expect the reactions, right? The reactions are back and forth. The reactions are back and forth until someone wins, and it prints something that you expect. So we only have these two candles really to expect anything, right? These two candles, and maybe understanding what it wants to do with this candle's body here. And we close under this candle's body, so I would expect a break and retest, right? Let me just clean this up a bit. I would expect a break and retest reaction here. So let's see what we get here. Nope. See, it fully disrespected this. It fully disrespected that break and retest. It's trading above the retest zone. And this is where people get smoked. This bullish zone is here for a reason. Oh, let me show you something crazier, right? Boom, stop these folks out. Let's just say it wants to go bullish, right? Still, stop these folks out. Oh, diabolical, because there are people that went in right here. Boom, long, put their stops where? Here. Use that liquidity as the take profit for the first round of shorts. And now look at us. It's not respecting that break and retest. So now we're engulfing, bullish engulfing. We expect, if we're going to go long out of this demand, we expect a bullish engulfing somewhere. It could have did it here. It could have did it here. Usually within the top range, right? I'm going to show you something. Well, I have all these markups. These markups don't be for nothing. Gang. When I show you all I can do is laugh. It's like I do this. I literally be doing this. Like when no one's looking, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm they're like, How are you able to get that position? How are you able to see this? How are you able to think that? Think this? Like, I marked the chart. And if you don't want to do it all complicated like that, you can just do it like that, right? Like, this is stuff that I actually legit be marking. Like, this is stuff that I be marking, yo. I'm still monitoring this level, right? But we're pretty much fully going back bullish at this point, right? Like, to me, and until what, we got 6 minutes left in this candle. You know, this is a transactional range still. This is still yet a transactional range. It was going to be a bearish impulse range after this candle. But now this candle just, now we know this whole range is transactional, right? From, you mark it off, right? I guess we can say from this gray line to this purple line is transactional at this point, at this very point. This is our dealing range. Now we can play within here. We can play with the CR highs and lows of these 15-minute blocks. Like, this candle's range was still on the table, right, for being a part of the array. We can know that from the lower time frame as well, right? So our supply zone got disrespected here, right? So you could have went long again, observed the FEG, respected 50% of the FEG. That was the main thing here. Printed back bullish, put your stop below the low. This would have been, I wouldn't have went into this play. I wouldn't have went into this play. That's just me. But somebody did, right? But we could probably get a better framework for this play, right? If right, where do we go? Oh, this is the first hour. This is the first hour of this candle. Oh yeah. If this was the first hour of this candle, this is the first candle. Look, this is where I may have went into this play. I may, and this is why. Now that I'm on a higher time frame, we got a bullish candle, right? It closed above what? This. So now this is your break and retest. That is your bullish. It's candle break and retest. It's candle structure break and retest. It's CSS, candle structure shift. It's break and retest. If you go on a lower time frame than this, you'll find all this marked up on the lower time frame where I have it already. But on the higher time frame, you would still mark it as, like, if you had to mark it, sometimes I just eyeball it. Between this range and this range, you can look for a long. Why? Because this candle was bullish. This candle was bullish. We expect mostly this candle closed bullish over this candle. So we expect from this body range to this body range, using this wick as the entry below it. You always want to come to it or below it. If you get a really good response at it, then you can go. But our response was from, below it. So because this was bullish, I always expect the same thing. I always expect bullish, then bullish right here, right? So even though what I said about this range on the lower time frame, it looked bearish, right? So you got people that are trading from this bearish rebalance, trying to seek the low, right? We are breaking lows. However, we did not kill what? We did not kill this guy. this guy that did what? The low broke the high. I say the same thing over and over when I'm reading these candles by candles. This guy's low broke. It led to the breaking of this high. It didn't close above it, but it did break it. So this guy ain't dead either. This guy's still alive. These folks are like Fidel Castro and mobsters, Russian Putin and all them. Like, right? These guys are still alive. They still talking their shit. So this guy's still talking his shit. That's why we do what? After this guy is still alive, we come back. Even though this guy's still alive, they're having a shootout. They're having a shootout. A mobster shootout. This guy and this guy. If you're not looking at all of this, then you still gambling, gang. You still gambling. So now that I know this guy is still alive, I don't even expect. He wants to keep price away from him, right? So we swept him here, and then here, this guy didn't even want no smoke. He said, "Yo, all right, boss, I got you, boss," right? But this guy here, this guy got snuffed out by this level here. These levels up in here, he got snuffed out. So boom. Boss, I did my best, boss. And he did. He broke this guy and closed. Well, I did my best, boss. This guy opens up. He's like, he don't know who to work for yet. This guy don't know who to work for. He's like, I want to go here, but he's scared, right? He's like, we got bearish. There's longs here that feel trapped, like in this level. There's longs. Because this is a break. This is a bearish break and retest point. Price is simple, but it gets complicated. And you think that because you know how to use a simple thing, that you can trade through the complicated things. That's where I lost most of my money. That's where I always lost most of my money. Because I knew something simple. I just need one simple strategy. When this happens, that happens. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. It ain't like that, gang. Like, if you don't know when it's going to be complicated, how you going to use a simple thing? If you don't even know when it's going to be complicated, yeah, you can use the simple thing during a simple frame. This is not a simple frame. Look at the frame. Look at the frame. I know for a fact between those two lines, it's not going to be a simple frame. Now, yeah, I was able to tell you and show you why I would have went long here when this happened, right? And also the short into that level, we also framed the whole time we've been streaming. We framed the short into that level, right? And we framed a long back out of that level for sure. Now we go into the higher time frame. Now we can really say, oh, that was a real, it hit up for this zone here to here was a 4 hour, like, right? Like that right there. That zone from there to there is a 4 hour valid buy zone. Right? Even more so like here, because this guy don't want to get touched. So below here would have even been crazier, right? Sweep this low, but this low is somewhat strong. Like, it's protected. Like, you can tell, like, by the reaction in that FVG. There was an FVG on the 1 minute chart that got left behind down here below this breakpoint. So you already thinking test and retest, right? Test and then go long. So some people could go long here, right? Because they expect this candle's body to hold. So they'll put their long here and then their stop down here, or, stop somewhere, maybe stop below this guy or whatever, and then target this guy, right? So even without being on the higher time frame, on the lower time frame, on the 1 minute chart, we can still frame even a pending order here, because if you know, you know. This is why I be saying I be sweating over the price and they not listening. Like, I be really sweating over the price, gang. It's levels to it. You got people with the 5 KD. You got people with the 20 KD around on COD. You got people, and I'm one of them. I'm a 20 KD. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get about 20 kills in a match on COD. You know what I'm talking about? So, I'm one of them on COD. But in this shit, you got people who got a 40 KD. You know what I'm saying? A 90% win rate, 70% win rate. That's the difference. It's the same difference as this. What I'm explaining with these candles is like a 40 KD or on COD. Like, this is the people who really know this. Like, I'm not faking it. I'm not making it up. This is the same thing that I look at every day. These ups and downs, even in these consolidations, it can be tradable. But you got to understand why these wicked reactions are happening and why it might not. You know what I'm saying? It's coming back to the bearish levels that got left behind. So, when you're wondering, like, what's it going to do? Is it going to trade through this high? Most likely it will trade through that high. But right now, we're dealing with, this is a bearish range. It's a wick. It went up and traded back down. So this is a bearish range, right? That's why it bounces up and down, up and down, up and down. All right, so let's go back to the lower time frame. Let's reconstruct our lower time frame. Actually, no. Before we go all the way down to the minute, let's look at the 15. All right, and preferably you should, if you're scalping, you should have all these time frames up at once on the screen. I got another screen on the other side over here. Got another chart. I got my iPad up with a different chart. Like, if you're really serious and you're really trying to understand all these levels at once, you gotta be looking at all the screens at once. Again, this is our return to origin, right? I don't even know what type of block this is. What type of block is this? This would be classified as a bearish order block. I guess this whole thing right here is a bearish order block. Supply right here. Alright, so like I said, this whole range from here to here is a transaction zone. This is the dealing range. You can trade it. You just gotta sweat your ass off. You just gotta well, you gotta put that sweat on the court. You wanna win that game. That's what this is. You can trade it. I may have, like I said, put in a long or been looking long down here from that 4-hour wick body sweep of this low right here. It meets all the requirements. TP for the shorts is here. Like I always say, I always mark the same things. Like, that's how you know when a person is not, I'm not just making up random stuff. I always mark the same things. If you look at my chart, you'll see there'll be a target on some shit like this, and I'll put TP for shorts. Right? I'll put TP for shorts. I'm not making that up. I always do. People who looked at my charts, they'll see it. Once you get the TP for shorts, you then look for what? A bullish order block. Go to the lower time frame, look for an imbalance in there. It hit that imbalance. We can't see it on this time frame. It was somewhere in here. It went like right down, and then when it was shooting up, that 1 minute chart, that 1 minute interacted on this next candle as it opened. You see, this candle opened and only went down just a smidgen because what? We had an up, we had a retrace. This wick is part of that retrace. The next candle opened up, hit this body, and went up. So when we come back down, TP for shorts, for the people who, smart scalpers maybe, or just robots, I don't never know. A lot of them probably TP'd right here, and you had a few lingered over, but there was a true bullish imbalance in here. It was that's a true bullish imbalance, not an inefficiency. An inefficiency is something like this, right? This was an inefficiency. It just kind of traded through here. If it was a true bullish imbalance in here, this would have happened in here. So that's the difference between, you got different FVGs or fair value gap, you got an inefficiency, you got an imbalance, right? True bullish imbalance down there, right, in that 1 minute candle. A lot of orders in there just didn't get taken. This candle opened and it ripped. A lot of these orders didn't get filled. Filled those orders, ripped up. Bullish engulfing. You could have traded this candle bullish, right? Minimal drawdown. It did what? Same thing it did on the minute chart, right? On the minute chart, what did it do down here? Down in this wick. It started here in this wick. At the end of this candle, it printed that bullish engulfing. This wick is where that bullish engulfing in the 1 minute is at. Then what? Boom, you seek that high. Bullish engulfing, you put your stop below the candle, target a high, right? Bro, it's like, you really got to understand it. Like, I don't know. Ain't no free meals out here. Ain't no simple, oh, let me learn this supply and demand. This was supply and demand, but it was still sweaty. Like, you still, if you don't have a context for where to even put your take profit, if you go long, you can put your take profit here, you can put it here, you can put it here, you can put it here. You can put it anywhere into one of these. I do have a framework that it would have taken all of these, that it would have taken all of these wicks to here. You know why? You know I have that framework? Because I have a markup for it. It's called relative equal highs. It's there in an equalish. It's like once it pops one, it'll just, they're so close together. It's not like long candles like these, like this low is way down here, this low is way down here, this low is way, like there's a lot of stuff to this stuff that if you don't understand, you wouldn't even understand. Like, oh my god, it's blowing through everything. Well, if you had an understanding of why to use a markup like this, you wouldn't be guessing. You would have a framework and not just be clicking. I'm tired. I gotta go to sleep, gang. I think this is it for me. My brain is starting to explode. Starting to catch a headache. You already know. Like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, boy. Hollywood. Ficky Hollywood Trades is out of here.